and welcome back to yet another video. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you free lucid dreaming techniques that you can use for success and wealth. And at the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you a huge tip for magnetizing your ideal life to you. And to me, this tip is basically like the key or the secret to attracting anything that you want to. So we are going to be breaking down 3 different success and wealth techniques. Each tip has a waking technique that you can use and something that you can use in the lucid dream to reprogram your brain and bring more wealth and success to you faster. But before we get into those techniques, I want to tell you how it's even possible that we can use lucid dreaming to attract opportunities, success, and wealth to us faster. Science shows us that we have over 65,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are thoughts that we had yesterday. So if we're constantly thinking the same thoughts every day, we're going to have the same emotions, and we're going to have the same actions, and we're going to have the same results. So what we want to do is make our most dominant thoughts in our waking life about what we want. This is new thought patterns, this is new habits, this is literally changing things throughout the day so you don't have a predictable future, so you don't live the same life or have the same thoughts that you had yesterday. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how powerful mental rehearsal is when you're trying to attract an opportunity or a certain amount of money or something in your career. You can really use this for anything. And we've also seen that the brain cannot tell the difference between dreams, waking reality, or imagination, which means in the lucid dream and even in our imagination, we can rehearse what we want to attract or magnetize to us and attract that a lot quicker. In the lucid dream, if you were to manifest money, count money, or basically just live out your ideal life, your brain would think that experience is actually happening. Not only would that help you get comfortable with what it would feel like to have what you want, but you're also teaching your brain that it is possible to have what you want because it thinks that you're actually experiencing what you want in waking life. And it kind of goes back to the story I told you guys about where they did a sports science study in the UK around lucid dreaming. They had athletes run, lift weights, and do squats in the lucid dream for 30 days. And after that 30 days, they increased in speed, muscle mass, and accuracy. So this shows us that mental rehearsal actually physically affects our psychology, our physical body, our emotions. And to our brain, there is not a difference between imagination, waking reality, or dreaming something. We've also seen that in the lucid dream, we have direct access to the subconscious mind, which means that you can implement new thoughts, ideas, and actions a lot faster. Usually when doing this in waking life or going through a hypnosis for success and wealth, we have to get through the conscious mind so we can actually implement the new ideas, thoughts, and actions into the subconscious mind. But when we're in the lucid dream, our conscious mind is basically turned off and we have direct access to the subconscious mind. So not only can we see what's already in there and the destructive habits that we're ready to let go of and actually be able to affect that immediately, but we can also implement positive things that we do want to become a part of ourselves. And the most important thing when it comes to manifesting wealth and opportunities and success is to suspend all disbelief, because technically energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and a thought and idea is energy. So technically that idea you didn't come up with, you discovered that and you were able to tap into that thought, which means that it already existed. So when you're having a thought about your business or how much money you want to make, you should break down all barriers, because truly anything is possible, and I've seriously experienced that so much lately, and I want to share what I've been practicing and the techniques that I've been using with you guys. So now that we've covered a little bit about how attracting wealth works in the waking life and in lucid dreaming, let's get into those 3 techniques. Number 1, go to bed with the thought of the exact money you want to manifest and imagine counting it in cash. What would the money feel, smell, look, and sound like when you're counting it? So this is part of mental rehearsal, and the reason why we want to do this before bed is because our conscious mind is starting to shut off and our subconscious mind is opening. Especially the last 5 minutes of wakefulness, that's when our subconscious is the most open, when we're still conscious, so you can implement any ideas or any scenarios or situations that you want to magnetize to you quicker. So what I like to do is count a specific amount of money. Say that you want to make like $10,000 a month or something. You can choose obviously any amount that you do want to make, But if it was $10,000, then you would imagine counting the $10,000 in cash as you're falling asleep. What would it sound like as you're counting the money, as it's moving through your fingers? What does money smell like? Can you imagine that without having money in front of you? Can you just tap in to what money smells like? Can you feel it in your hands without actually holding it? You want to create such a visual imagination of this as you're going to sleep that your brain actually thinks that it is happening. And I also recommend doing this every night with the same amount of money. That way you're sending out like a direct signal of an exact amount of money that you want to manifest. And you'll notice once you decide that you're going to attract this money to you, your brain starts to come up with all of these ideas to make it happen quicker. And so you can actually also bring it in. Like as soon as we decide that we're going to make this amount of money and imagine counting it, imagine having it, already feeling like we do have it, we'll start to get random ideas. We'll start to see opportunities that we didn't see before, and we'll literally be led to it. Like you won't have to look and you don't have to know about the how. So mental rehearsal is definitely really important. So I definitely recommend doing this as you're falling asleep. Now let's get into the lucid technique part of this. Once lucid, manifest the amount of money or more that you were imagining before bed and start counting it in the dream. Interact with the money using all of your senses and create the excited feeling of this money coming to you. So once you're in a lucid dream, you want to manifest this amount of money. Now there's a ton of ways that you can manifest money in the lucid dream. It is a thought responsive state, so whatever you think and expect and intend to happen is usually going to happen in the lucid dream. So you can just imagine that you really do have $10,000 in your pocket in the lucid dream and expect it to be there. And when you reach into your pocket, you're gonna have the $10,000. You can also go up to a random dream character and just say, hey, you were gonna give me that $10,000 that you owe me, remember? And since you're the director of the dream, even if you've never talked to that dream character, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, totally, here you go. And then voila, you have the amount of money that you need to do this technique. The lucid dream seriously heightens all of our senses. For any of you who have not had a lucid dream yet, you will see that it really enhances your entire experience in all of your senses. And when you have that money in the dream and you manifest it, you really want to interact with it using all of your senses. How vivid can you make this experience? And even though it already feels vivid in the lucid dream, you need to really tune in to your senses when you have this money, because your brain is going to think that it's actually happening. Your neural circuits in your mind are going to be rewired to know it's possible to make this amount of money, and you will open the creative part of your brain, which will bring more ideas to bring this money to you. As you can see, it is a domino effect, and if you want to know more about how this works, like I said before, I definitely recommend checking out Dr. books. But the fact that we can do this in waking life or our sleep or dreams is insane. So definitely try this technique. Let's get on to the next one. Write down a thank you letter for anyone in your life that you know in person or not that you feel has contributed to this abundance that you're about to bring in. At the end of your letter, make sure to write thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you is a state of gratitude, and gratitude is in a state of receiving or already having something. So you definitely want to show gratitude and feel it in your core as much as you can as you're reading this letter. So the amount of money that you're manifesting, who could you write a thank you letter to regarding that amount of money that you manifested? Of course, you're not going to give this person your letter. You're just going to read this to yourself, and this is basically in a state of already having received what you wanted. So we really want to make those our dominant thoughts throughout the day. My letter, for example, was to Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. That book is amazing, and I have been studying it, and it has seriously been changing my life, so I wrote my letter to Napoleon Hill. You don't have to put an exact amount of money on there if you don't want to, but basically I said, Napoleon Hill, thank you so much for all of your teachings. It has brought in so much abundance, and I now make over $10,000 a month. And then I just start talking about all the success that I've had in different areas of my business or my life, basically already stating that it's happened. So you want to write this in present tense. And I read this at least once a day, and you want to make sure to add thank you at the end, because it really brings it to a state of thank you so much for what I've already received kind of energy. And I put 3 thank yous on there because I feel like the more you say thank you, like it really has time to like sit in, like thank you, thank you, thank you. Like you would probably say that if you really received something that you were really excited or happy for. So you kind of want to put yourself into that mindset. So definitely write that letter. It could be to an author or anyone that you've looked up to that you feel has contributed to your success that you are bringing in. Another thing, you can also write a letter from your future self's point of view to your present self. So, Haylee, thank you so much for all the work that you did when you were this years old, you know, how old you are, and then just kind of write yourself a letter that way. So there's tons of ways that you can do this, but I would definitely recommend doing that and reading it every day. Now let's get into the lucid portion of this technique. Once lucid, say to the sky, which represents your subconscious mind, how grateful you are for the money that you have received. Say out loud what you are going to do with the money that you have now received. I don't think what we want is money, but it's what money can bring us as far as opportunities or things that we're able to accomplish. So you really want to focus on the end goal. The end goal is not receiving the money, it's what that money is actually going to provide to you or to give to you. So in the lucid dream, when you're talking out loud to your subconscious, remember these affirmations go directly into your subconscious mind so they can be implemented a lot easier and actually begin to become a part of who you are, not just, you know, positive ideas, but we can learn to make that reality by putting these thoughts into our subconscious mind. Once you do that and you state what you're actually going to now do with the money you received, it now puts you in the reality of already having completed what you wanted to or received what you wanted to from the money. So you don't want to just think about receiving the money, but the experiences that it would give you. Once you say thank you to the sky, which of course represents the subconscious mind in the lucid dream, and you state what you are now going to do with the money that you have received, it puts you in the reality of already having accomplished what you wanted to, because that abundance and that wealth came in. So you want to put yourself at the end goal. Say I wanted to manifest like $2,000 so I can go to California. I would imagine myself already being in California, already being where that money would help me get to, if that makes sense. So state that out loud in the lucid dream, and you can even play out the scenario of everything that you want to do with that wealth out in the lucid dream. And of course, you can also do that throughout the day through mental rehearsal. You really want these thoughts based around what you want to experience. You want those to be your most dominant thoughts throughout the day. So for the third technique, you want to say out loud or write it on a paper, I now choose to let unlimited abundance and wealth flow into my life. I am awaiting plans, ideas, and circumstances that will bring me into my unlimited sources of riches. You want to memorize this and say this throughout the day. You can even say this in the mirror as well. Release resistance on how it will come to you. That is the most important part. I can't tell you how many times I've been trying to like magnetize a certain amount of money or like an experience to me or anything, but I keep like looking for how it's going to come in. And that creates a lot of resistance and it really does get in the way. So you almost want to like set it and forget it. Like state what you're wanting and rehearse it in your mind and then completely let go of the idea of receiving. Just like let it work its magic and it will come in the weirdest way. Someone will like gift you something, someone will give you an opportunity, you'll like win something random. It literally could be anything. I can't even like state it all because I don't want to like put ideas in your mind of how it could come in, because it could be something so random that literally no one expected. And a few times that happened on my California trip that I just took that I'll have to tell you guys about. There was so much that happened that we were like magnetizing to us, and it was almost like we felt like we were in a dream. So this really does work, and you really just have to like learn to flow. And that sounds so cliche, but like I literally learned a new meaning to that recently, like what that actually feels like to do that. So in any way that you can just like flow, release resistance to any, past experiences and the anxiety of future experiences, just release that and things will flow so much smoother. So now let's get into the lucid portion of this technique. Once lucid, ask your subconscious by calling out to the sky what you can do to create more financial freedom in your life. Ask what skills or talents you possess or may discover that will create more sources of wealth. The subconscious mind is so intelligent because everything that we know throughout the day, like in waking life, and everything that we remember, that's only part of our conscious mind, which is only 5% of our brain. When we step out of our conscious mind and into the subconscious mind, that's 95% more information that we didn't consciously know before, or that we forgot about, or that we haven't discovered yet. And so it holds so much information about you, your hidden hobbies and talents. You know, your subconscious knows all of that. Even though your conscious mind hasn't experienced something yet, or, you know, isn't thinking about something, your subconscious is literally present to all of that and who you are. So you can really get a ton of amazing information directly through your subconscious mind. And of course you can do this in hypnosis, you can do this in meditation, but for me, I find it easier to do it in the lucid dream because it's a very submersive, real 3D experience. And of course I still meditate and all of that, but when it comes to, you know, living out an experience or asking my subconscious questions, it's easy in the lucid dream because subconscious talks out loud to you. You know, it just literally gives you and once you get to that deep state in the lucid dream, like, you will get so many ideas and new things that you can't wait to accomplish or explore more in waking life. That's also why it's really good to have a dream journal, because you will get information that you did not expect. Like, you will probably have your mind blown a few times from doing this, and this is something that I recommend that my clients do, and I'll have to tell you some stories about those in the future because wow, it is so wild what the subconscious mind is capable of doing and what we are capable of creating and experiencing just by doing this practice. Seriously, so powerful. Now I wanted to give you one big tip for manifesting or attracting or magnetizing your ideal life to you. This is probably the biggest thing that I'd recommend out of anything else, and we will definitely get into this more in the future, but it's as simple as this sentence. Your personality creates your personal reality. So when we're attracting our ideal life or our ideal circumstances, we want to make ourselves become that person in the now. So say that I really do want to move to California. So what would I be like if I lived in California? What would my thoughts be? What would my feelings be? What would my habits be throughout the day? Who would that person be as a whole? Like, you really have to tap into your most ideal self. What would be the best person that you could be? What would that look like in all aspects? Like, who would that person be? And you can write this out as well, like the habits, the hobbies, the traits that this ideal person you will have in the future. And learn to bring that into the now, because it's almost like we have to train ourselves and train our body what it would feel like to have what we want and be the person that we want before we can experience it. It's almost like gaining the tools to be able to handle and maintain what we want to experience in waking life. So I would definitely recommend writing down anything about yourself in the future that you really do see yourself doing, like your most authentic, happiest, wealthiest, healthiest, ideal self, and really write it out like an actual person and get to know the personality of that person that you're wanting to be, and start to implement the ideas and thoughts and habits and hobbies that person that your ideal self is doing. Do that in the now, and you will start to notice your whole entire world change. And it makes it kind of easy to start to switch on thoughts and switch on a different mindset, because it's like, does this, if you're having like a negative thought of something, does this fit into my ideal reality? Like, is this how I would be thinking in my most ideal reality? Probably not. So what would I think instead? You can start to become conscious of your unconscious thoughts and start to change them and rewire them piece by piece. And I'm telling you, this is the most amazing piece of information that I've discovered, because it literally takes everything into account in this one sentence. Your personality creates your personal reality. Becoming that person so we actually can teach our body what it feels like, so we are prepared to attain and maintain that ideal life. I also wanted to let you guys know that I have updated all of my one-on-one mentorships, my sessions, my courses. I just came out with that new Astral travel course Beyond Lucidity that I'm going to be adding more to. I wanted to leave the link in the description and the comments where you can find all of my services and get in touch with me. For the next week, I will be accepting ideas via email for my Beyond Lucidity Astral travel course. This course is based around astral travel techniques and advanced lucid dreaming techniques, and I wanted to give you guys a chance to email me if there's anything that you would like to see in that course, and then I can add it to the curriculum, because I really want to make sure that everyone has the information they need, and I talk about what everyone, kind of, it's different for everybody. Really want to hear from you and see what you're wanting to hear more about that you would like to see in my courses, and it's a possibility that I will put that in the curriculum. I'll be accepting those emails for the next week, and you can email those over at contact.thelucidmystic@gmail.com if you have any ideas for my Beyond Lucidity course as far as the classes go. And for those of you who don't know, I did not upload last Saturday because I was in California for a week. It was literally the best experience of my entire life, and I'm thinking about making a separate video for it because there's just so much about that trip and just like so many like realizations, and just like it's just so much that I got back from that trip. Seriously amazing. So I will be talking about that in the future. Thank you guys for your patience. I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining in this video. I really hope that this information helps you, and leave a comment if you have any experiences using any of these techniques, or maybe even other ones that we didn't talk about here. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the socials if you want to follow me on other platforms. And make sure to check out my Patreon because I just added a ton of new cool stuff on there, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Alright guys, I love you so much. Thank you again so much for joining. Always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity.